kings and queens. What's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Kay. Of course, it is your girl Kayla, also known as Wood, your favorite life coach. Yep, you guessed it correct. And listen, I am super excited about this episode today. As you guys can see, I have someone new on the couch with your girl. And I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, let the people know your name, and whatever else you want to share with the people, the K listeners.
Period. What's up, K listeners? It's your boy Anthony Underwood. I am as CEO and owner, founder of MGE, Middle Georgia Elite. We're a nonprofit car club. I sing, I do hair, I do it all.
A plethora of things
that we do in
yeah,
these streets.
That's like all of us. We do a lot of stuff like here, there, and everywhere.
Yes.
But I am super excited to have you here on this episode,
Absolutely.
to be here and kicking it with your girl. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Before we jump into this episode, I want to start out with some K announcements. So make sure you guys do what? Govern yourselves accordingly, okay? So the announcements are few. I just want to give a few shout outs to, first off, 1212 Studios. Y'all already know this is where this podcast is being recorded and produced. Shout outs to the whole 1212 staff and team. If you are a creator of any kind, looking to create any type of content from music videos, you need to drop some bars off in the studio, like come to 1212 Studios and we'll make sure we get you where you need to be. Okay, so shout outs to 1212. Make sure you guys go and follow them. Also, shout outs to my girl Nada B in the community. Of course, like I tell y'all, she got a podcast coming out soon, so you guys be on the lookout for that. But she is also, I guess you would call it like a brand ambassador for Mary Kay. She is Mary Kay, so make sure you guys go and support her. I have a promo code that will be down in the description below. And then lastly, shout outs, well, not lastly, second to last, shout outs to Mike Ryder, who is the owner of Entrepreneurs Need Love Too. So if you are an entrepreneur or you want to support an entrepreneur, go and check out his clothing brand. And we have a promo code for that, and that will be down in the description as well. Check that out. And then lastly, shout outs to Middle Georgia Elite. Okay, listen, this is the car club of car clubs.
Well, we have two. We have the car club and then we have the nonprofit portion.
That part. So shout outs to all of it, okay? Because y'all are out here doing great things. Yes. You guys give back to the community and like y'all really be doing it.
Absolutely. 100% community based. So
awesome. So shout outs to y'all. And that concludes the K announcement. So thank you guys for governing yourselves accordingly. So as we get ready to jump, why are you laughing?
It's what I do. You know I get down.
We're going to have a good episode. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
So I want to start this off by asking you, like, first off, how are you? Like, how are you doing?
I'm so amazing. God been good to me.
God been good to you.
He been so good to me.
You want to testify to the people?
Oh, babe, don't get me started.
Huh?
Don't get me started.
What has the Lord done for you?
Oh, God, what hasn't he done is a better question.
Come on.
God has been really good to me. He's done a lot of things. He's changed a lot of things in my life this past couple of years.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's always good when you can, when you go through stuff, but you see the benefit of it was purposeful in a sense.
Let's just say I'm reaping what I've sown.
Come on.
You know?
Reaping the harvest.
Yes.
Come on and reap.
So I'm definitely blessed for that. I'm excited.
That's awesome. I'm glad you are doing well and that you are in your reaping season.
Thank you.
Come on, somebody. You know for yourself.
All by myself.
Come
for
on.
myself.
Edible shout out.
And now I can say
edible shout out because I know for myself. Because when you go on a street committee, you can say edible shout out because you know for yourself.
Exactly.
But jumping into this conversation, me and you, we had like a brief conversation previously, and we talked about like sometimes in life you can just have enough of certain situations of people,
Right.
work, life in general. So let's start there. What is something you have had enough of? Because I got a long list, but I'm gonna let you start because you the guest.
And you know, I was trying to think about something. 'Cause I really have a long list as well. We're gonna keep it short
Come
with
on.
my list at least. Um, I'm tired of adulting. It's real ghetto on these streets.
Overrated for
Real
real.
bad. Like I'm tired of paying bills. I am
Yes.
tired of just doing it all. I live by myself. I have a fairly big house. I have two cars to take care of. Like it's just a lot. I'm tired.
Listen, I remember like growing up, the running line would be, "I can't wait to grow up," or "I can't
Right.
wait to be an adult." Now, y'all can have it.
Please take it back.
Take it
Return
back.
to sender.
Here you
I'm
go.
sick of it. And that's the thing. Like when we're younger, that's what we want. We want so badly to be grown. Take it back, mom. Take me back. Please. No, I'm kidding. I love being on my own. I love being an adult. It's just it's a lot.
Yeah, it comes with its ups and downs. Like one thing I can say is that we have they have failed us.
Real bad.
Like I really wish that in the school systems and like they would teach like these basic principles of life.
Right.
Like if I got to carry the five, I got to carry the five. It is what it is. But teach me how to. Back then, it was balancing a checkbook.
Right.
Don't know
Good
anything
old
about
days.
checks. Writing a check. Don't know nothing about
I don't
that.
even think I remember how to write a check. It's been so long.
I still remember.
And see, and I grew up in the check writing era.
Yeah.
But it's just been so long. Everything I do is online. I'm swiping.
Yeah, everything is online now.
Yeah.
But we got to prepare our people.
Yes, we do.
We got to prepare our people.
It's essential.
It is.
Just the basic essentials is what we need.
What else have you had enough of?
Well, I had enough of my ex,
Uh-oh.
which is why I'm so blessed now. I'm able to do the things that I love to do because
Come on,
I finally
somebody.
let that go. So I got tired of people. Not just, I won't just say my ex, people in general. I got tired of catering to people that didn't really pour back into me
Yeah.
and cater back into me.
That that is like really huge because like a lot of times like we give so much of ourselves to people and it's just like, okay, when is it my turn? Like who gonna cater to me?
Yeah. And I'm like, I have a bad habit of doing that with people. Like I'm a giver. I'm a natural.
Yeah.
giver. I'm the oldest of 12.
Whew.
So 8 on my mom's side, 4 on my dad's side. So
Yeah.
it's always been like more on me. And I'm used to that. Like I enjoy doing things for people.
Right.
That's why I started my company. Because I love to do for people.
There you have it.
But at some point it's like, when is someone going to do the same for you? Or in my case for me?
Yeah. Like I think at some point in our lives, we all have been in a relationship, whether it's like with a significant other, family, friends, but like you have those people that will like literally like leech off of you and like they're always asking. And sometimes they always ask because they know that if I go to this person,
Right.
I already know what the outcome is going to be because they're just so loving. They're so giving. So I know that I can go to them and be like, hey, I need this.
Right.
Or, hey, can you do this? Can you go pick up? And it gets to a point to where it gets played out. Sometimes we can abuse people's power or their gifts, and it's
Word.
just like, slow down, shawty.
Right.
Slow
No,
down.
we work
Just-
hard for ours. Like you can't just
Listen.
give everybody everything that you have.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I'm used to, just giving. Like I would literally give my last. And I got to a point where it's like, no, I can't do this no more.
But it's like, I'm so willing to give my last, but when will I say enough is enough? Because I have to consider me in this equation, in this life in general, because I have stuff going on. Yeah, you have stuff going on too, but sometimes I got to realize that I don't have the capacity to give you what you need at this moment.
It's only but so much we got.
That part. And sometimes that will make people mad. I did an episode a while back, and I talked about how my no is powerful. My no is just as powerful as my yes, because I was going through a situation and it was just like, people know I'm a giver. Right. So if I can help or if I can assist in a way, then just ask Kayla. Right. She can do it. And it was just like, I told this person no, and you would have thought the world was about to end.
I hate that.
And it was just like, just because
no is not the end of the world.
Right.
But it is powerful, like you said. Some people are not used to the no. They're used to the yes, man. Yes, man. Like, they're used to that. Baby, no. No. No.
No. No.
No. No. No.
No. And we have to like get to a point to where we can choose ourselves and really be who we need to be for ourselves at the end of the day. And there's a lot that plays a factor into that. Me and you talked, and we about to go real serious real quick.
Here we go.
But we talked about on the back end, and you actually shared this on Facebook as well, with dealing with like a relationship, and it didn't work out the way.
Good way to put it.
Right. It didn't work out like the way that you thought it was going to work out, or the end result wasn't what you expected it to be. Mm-hmm. How did you, how do I want to work this? So, you want to share, or you want me to tell the people?
It's up to you, really.
I'm an open book. So. You are an open book. So, just to catch everybody up, you were a part of a domestic violence relationship. And in this relationship, whoop happened, right? But in that, it wasn't the final end for you, because you had enough. You found your courage. Mm-hmm. You found you, and you was able to say, I've had enough, right. And you was able to do what you need to do for you. Mm-hmm. So if you could just give us a little background on that. You don't have to go in full detail.
If you not keep you here all night.
I know, but like, just give us like a little bit of your story.
Okay. Where should I start? So we were together for almost 4 years. Mm-hmm. We were friends online for like 7 years. Mm-hmm. And we used to call each other twin. Like, we were just cool. We were kicking it.
Yeah.
Kicking it okay. So I was with another person for a few years. We ended up splitting, and he finally said, hey, I've been interested in you for a long time. He shot his shot. I accepted, and we started kicking it. Right. He ended up moving here from another state, mm-hmm. and things were great at first, from what I thought.
Yeah.
My family loved him. My friends loved him. We went to church together. We did everything together.
Right.
We were living together after a very short amount of time of actually dating each other. Mm-hmm. And so behind the scenes, there was a lot going on that I didn't know about. So he had apparently been talking to other people, like, from day one, and I never knew. And like, anybody who really knows me, like, I'm like a very low tolerance kind of person when it comes to BS.
That
like,
part.
I'm a very accepting and open person. Like, I can talk to people about anything. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to a wall for the listen, and most of the time it does.
Hello.
But I know I was so blinded by the love that I had for him. Mm-hmm. And up front, like, I wasn't in love with him up front. Something that I kind of grew and progressed with time. But once I get there, it's like I'm tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. I don't see anything else. And so things would start to happen, and I would think things were happening, but like something in the back of my head was like, it's nothing. Like, the type of person I am is, if I don't have proof of it, I'm not going to really bring it to your attention. I might say something, but it'll be like kind of surface level, and then I'll just let
Mm-hmm.
it go. Now, once something comes up and I got proof, it's a whole other ballgame.
That part.
So I'm a very verbal person, as you can see, and I mean, I talk. So like I would tell him like, listen, I'm hearing this, and that, and mind you, he's from another state,
Yeah.
so no one in my area knew him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, it's funny to me that people are saying these things like as if they know who you are.
Right.
Somebody got to know something that's going on. Long story short, I found out that he had been cheating from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I forgave him the first time. He had went out one night, got belligerently drunk, and went home with someone because he was upset. He felt like I wasn't there like I should have been. And I did eventually end up pulling back slightly because I'm like, you cheated on me. Like, I'm trying to have you build that
Right.
trust back. New Year's, I won't say what year, a couple years ago.
A
few years ago, excuse
Uh-huh.
me. We had went out with a bunch of friends. He had gotten really drunk. I'm not really, I mean, I drink. I'm a social drinker.
Yeah.
I don't drink to get drunk. I
That
don't
part.
like to be not in control. And so I'm good. He's getting so drunk, like he's getting belligerent. He's getting physical, kind of like pushing me around and stuff. And I was bigger than him.
Yeah.
I'm definitely stronger than him, which is another reason why I didn't really want to be forceful back because I know I
Right.
would hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
And he took advantage of that, full advantage, knowing that I wouldn't put my hands on him. So anywho, I tried to calm him down, get him together. I couldn't for the life of me get it done. So he started swinging on me. I mean, like swinging, like we was fighting off the streets.
Yeah, we know, King. That
Yeah, and ready to fight for
Yeah.
real. And even then, I could not fix myself to fight him back. So I ended up grabbing him and kind of like holding him against the wall. I'm like, listen, you don't want to go there with me.
Right.
Eventually, he calmed down. Some friends came out and he calmed down a little bit, and we just kind of let it go. That was the first time. A couple more times it happened. Every time he was drunk. So I realized he had a drinking problem. He had a lot of trauma from his past.
Okay.
And so I'm the type of person like that makes me want to love you more, to love you harder. So like I would just pour more into him. I bought a used car, nice Infiniti, beautiful luxury
Yeah.
car, gave it to him. I got us a house. I took care of the majority of the bills. Like I was daddy for real.
You was like, you was all in.
Yes, like I was really taking care of business because I wanted to show him like that was the first time he'd ever felt secure in a relationship.
Gotcha.
I know
okay.
this because not only he told me, but his mother told me this as well. So I knew that like stability was something that he had never really had. So through all that, he was still cheating behind my back. I didn't know this at the time. I found out 3.5 years later. So the last straw for me was I left him. I broke up with him, but he was still living in my house for like 7 months.
Gotcha.
So I put him in the guest room. I stayed in the master bedroom. I'm like, stay here as long as you need. Get yourself together. Just me being me.
Did he pay rent?
He paid like $200 a month,
Okay.
which was really chump change. I mean, my electric bill's higher than that.
That part.
I told you this adulting is real bad. I'm trying to tell y'all. So like he did pay rent. Well, I mean that, but honestly, the last 4 months he didn't pay rent because he claimed he didn't have it. He was trying to save to move out, but he was going shopping and he was traveling out of town. He was doing all these things.
Make it make sense.
I mean, the sense won't sense in for me.
Come on, somebody.
So he ended up leaving his iWatch at the house. Excuse me. So I mean, I do what I do. I investigate a little bit. I like to think I'm a little PI ish.
Inspect the gadget.
Right. So he had called me and he's like, hey, have you seen my watch? I'm like, I'll go look. So I found it. He didn't know I still knew the password. Or I guess he forgot to change the password.
Gotcha.
So I go through the watch and I find like months of just sexting and meeting people and just doing a bunch of craziness.
Yeah.
So I knew that he had cheated. I didn't know the extent of the cheating that he was doing. And with people in my area, I'm well known in the area for all the community work that I do. For singing now, like everything that I do, like a lot of people know me. So I was really at first embarrassed. I'm like, people get to see a side of me that I don't really show.
Yeah.
A vulnerable side. Like I'm vulnerable to an extent.
Yeah. And it's hard to be vulnerable with people because that's me letting down my guard and like really letting you in.
Yeah.
And now that's on Front Street for everyone to see. And it's just like,
I don't like that. And I guess because I'm used to being the strong one.
yeah.
You know, everyone comes to me when they have their problems. And people will tell me, like, you know, Anthony, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream. It's okay to laugh. Whatever you need, do that to get yourself together.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't having it at the time. I was very, I won't say sheltered. I just didn't want to do it. I wasn't ready. That's all it was.
I get that. Being not ready and then also depending on the people too, because it's just like I'm only going to invite certain people into my space,
Right.
you know? So yeah, I do want to be vulnerable, but can you handle me properly
Oh, that's good.
in that moment, in that
Yeah.
state, you know? And a
Yeah.
lot of people can't. So I get
And I
that.
have a great circle of friends, and I have praying friends.
Yeah.
We don't play.
Come
So
on.
I know I can call certain friends and be like, listen, it's going down. Like, pray for me.
Yeah.
Or I just need to vent.
Listen, call the main line.
Tell them what you want.
Call it.
So, but I wasn't utilizing that because I was so ashamed. I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I had so many negative emotions about the whole situation. And I was still I was still very much in love with him at the time. Despite everything that I know he had done, my heart was still fully there.
Yeah.
I remember watching him get ready to go out of town. And I knew what he was going out of town for, or who, should I say. And like, I literally broke down and had a panic attack. Like, I'd never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
I remember my office is in the middle of my house. So like the bathroom is in front of the office. I could see him walking through. I can hear him shaving. I can hear him doing his hair. I can smell him,
Yeah.
prepping and everything like that.
Right.
I saw his bag, so like it was very stressful for me. So I remember I was at my desk working and I literally, when he left out the house to go, because I remember he was doing what he used to do for me, primping and prying and getting himself together.
Come on,
So
somebody.
prepping rather. So I fell to my knees and I was just crying. I could not breathe. I was out of it.
Yeah.
I called my therapist, started seeking therapy because I was so emotional from all that.
Right.
And she finally calmed me down. She prayed with me and got me back to a good space. And I told myself then that it was over. It wasn't, but I told myself it was. Like for good. I know he was already in the guest room and we weren't really,
Right.
we hadn't been intimate in months, like 6-7 months. And so the last straw was the day before Christmas Eve. I was hosting Christmas at my house that year. My parents had sold their home and they were going to travel the world. So I had the biggest house, so everyone was going to come to my house. So I had decorated the house all nice and cute.
Yeah.
And you've been to my house, like you see, I'm very particular about how my things are.
Yes.
And so he came down and asked to use my car because his car was in the shop. The car that I gave him, mind you, that he wasn't taking care of.
Right.
So I'm like, no, I don't trust you to use my car. He was doing drugs and things at the time. And I'm like, my car has decals on it for my company. So if the cops see you doing some crazy stuff, my name is
Yeah.
on that. So no, you can't use my car. So he got upset and he charged at me. By this time, he'd hit me like 6 or 7 times. Fights, like full-blown fights. Well, him fighting me. So I knew he was going to attack me. And so I was already on defense mode.
Yeah.
So I pushed him back after he charged at me. Well, that's when we finally started going at it and I actually fought back. And in my head, I told myself, this is the last straw for me. If it ever comes to a point, it should have been over anyway a long time ago. But when it comes to a point where I'm actually having to physically put my hands back on you to defend myself, it's over for me.
Yeah.
So after we fought, I put him out that day. And that was completely it. He had came back about 2 weeks later to get the rest of his stuff. I would not let him in the house. I had him sit outside. I put all of his stuff on the deck and let him do his thing. And I have not seen him since. It's been almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
That's not even the surface of all
Right.
of it.
There's still on the sand.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Right?
it's so much trauma, and so many people go through it. The reason why I did that post was because, first of all, I was thankful to God. I was thankful that
Hmm.
God trusted me enough to go through that because He knew that I could get through it.
Right.
So I had to go through it to get through it, and I knew that it would help someone else.
Yeah.
So I had to I fought with myself, probably for about a year and a half.
Hmm.
Should I post this? I had it written down in my notes and everything, exactly what I wanted to be posted, just
Yeah.
didn't have the pictures. And I really forgot about it for a little bit. And I was going through my photos randomly, what I do, because I have like a million of them.
And do.
Real bad, y'all. Just pray for me. And I saw one of the photos of him, of like the cuts and stuff that I had. And for the first time, I didn't break down when I saw that.
Wow.
Like, I did not shed one tear. And I was like, oh, you for real over it now? Okay, I see you.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I think now that I can get through it without breaking down, I think it's time now.
Right.
And so I prayed over it. And that night I posted it. And I got so much feedback.
Hmm.
Texts, calls, video chats, of course, like everywhere that I can imagine. People were hitting me up like, thank you.
Yeah.
Really, that's it. Just thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being vulnerable with us. Thank you for helping me get out of it.
Hmm.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. It's amazing because, like, you never know what the person sitting beside you is going through
Yeah.
or what they are facing. And we have to speak up about those things. Like, we go through, and this takes a lot of maturity because sometimes, we believe in God, whatever higher power you believe in, you do you. But like with us, we know that we will face some tests and some trials,
Right.
and it takes the maturity or the mature us to be like, okay, I'm going through this for whatever experience or whatever I gotta get through it for, but it's bigger than me, and with you realizing that, and getting to that point to be like, okay, it's time.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough, and I gotta share this. I made it out. Now let me post this. Let me share this with whomever I need to. So I'm proud of you for like really doing that and stepping out and letting your voice be heard. Because even with you making that post and with this episode today, it's going to help a lot of people out there that may feel like they are stuck or don't have an avenue to get out. My closest friend tells me all the time that my voice is powerful. Like, my silence is very loud. My superpower is my voice.
Right.
And, you have to use that. And we all have our own superpower and we have to tap into it. So I'm proud of you for tapping into that. To go a little deeper in this, how has that situation been, or how has it affected your current relationships with people? With you got a boo thing now? We ain't gonna talk about it. Okay, bet.
I'm very single. I have
Okay.
friends.
Well, how has that affected your relationships, like with people, like with your family, with your friends?
Um, well, I've always had trust issues really with people.
Mm,
I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I think for a while it gotten much worse. Like, I didn't trust anything anyone said. It didn't
yeah.
matter who it was. But I was just in a stage of hurt and trauma. So I still don't put anything past anyone,
Yeah.
but it's affected me in a way that I've opened my eyes to be able to see the red flags that I wasn't seeing before. And my friends and my family would tell me like, Anthony, this like something's different, something's off about you.
Yeah.
And of course, I wasn't telling anyone because I was still in I was still in my hurt, my moment. So I think it's allowed me to open my eyes and really see people for who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Still giving them the benefit of the doubt as much as I can, but not taking the BS.
Right.
So yeah.
That's good. So speaking of like giving people the benefit or the doubt, I do these things because I feel like everybody deserves a chance. You know,
I agree.
like we're all human.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can't put stuff past people because we're still human.
Right.
And humans be out here
Cutting
human.
up.
Okay? Kind of
Yes.
real bad, you know?
Yeah, trust
And
me,
it's
I
just
know.
like, you know, when somebody, who is it? Maya. Shout outs to the poet, the great poet Maya. When somebody,
Angelou.
come on, when somebody show you who they are.
Believe them. I mean, you know, I felt her. Ain't that what she said though?
Believe them.
Believe them.
Believe them the
Yes.
first time.
And see, I struggle with that.
Mhm.
Like I like to give. I believe in a second chance.
Yeah.
I've had second chances. You know,
Yeah.
I've not been perfect.
Right.
And nor will I ever be perfect.
That part.
But you have to give people. What do we talk about all the time? Grace. You have to give yourself and people
That
grace.
is true.
So,
But you can't be out here abusing grace now.
and that's the thing. That's what people do. They take advantage of.
Listen, you got grace and mercy. Don't be out here.
Because
Acting
grace will
up.
leave eventually.
And will.
She'll get tired of you.
And when grace leave, what you gonna do? Huh?
Oh, we came to teach tonight.
Come on, somebody.
Cutting up.
Always. So I know you said that there was some trauma and some hurt that you dealt with that. And you also mentioned some red flags. So what would be some red flags of domestic violence that you experience or that people can be on the lookout for?
Body language is big. People don't really think about body language, but if you have someone that's always kind of tight and up in your face, that's a red flag for me. Especially because people know about my personal space. Like I'm a very touchy feely person. You know, I'm always hugging on my
Yeah.
people. I love y'all. So I'm a very, very, very touchy feely person. But when you're, especially in a heated moment, when you're in my space, that's a no-no. So that is a red flag for me. The body language. A big one is verbiage. Don't cuss me out when we're in an argument. And I have a potty mouth sometimes. You know, I talk my talk.
We like a little cuss.
Yeah, every now and then I'll cuss.
Yeah.
I'll cuss. I'll pray for you afterwards, but I'm gonna cuss you out. But it feels deliberate, and it becomes an attack when you're cursing at me when we're arguing.
Okay.
That's been my experience, at least with one particular person mostly, and that's who I went through all the trauma with. And then, of course, paying attention to what they do to you after the fact. If you watch things, you'll catch them.
Yeah.
You will definitely catch them. But you have to be open to seeing what it is. Everyone can tell you what to do and what not to do. But if you're not in the moment paying attention to it, you're never going to find it.
Right.
And that was me. I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
So making sure to check the body language, making sure that they're not just being completely disrespectful with the verbiage. That's one that I had, and it just completely.
Bring it back, Lord.
Lord, bring it to my
Come
remembrance.
on, bring it back, bring it back, bring it
We'll
back.
circle back around if I remember it.
One thing that you said about like with the verbiage is like really big, as well as like body language. Like even it doesn't even have to be a domestic violence relationship, but like just in general, like watching people, their demeanor, their tone of voice when they're not even speaking, because you can be posted up with your eyebrow lifted up. Oh, you're speaking very loud.
Right. I hear you.
Tone that down, okay?
Yeah. And that all ties into that body language. Like,
Yeah.
it used to frustrate me so bad. And it still does with certain people. Because I'm, like me, my feelings are going to show on my face.
Very much so.
And we have to be cautious of that. And most of my friends are like that. Like, you know, when
Yeah.
something's going on with us.
Fix your face.
Please.
I can't.
This is just my face.
Can't.
I tried and I can't. But just being conscious of those things. You can see someone who is a fighter, someone who's physical, or who is an abuser. I don't believe that my ex was an abuser. I believe that the circumstances made him that way. Call me naive, call me what you want.
Yeah.
But I do believe that circumstances kind of shape people into who they are if you let them.
Right.
We grew up with the same background. I was abused as a child. Physically, not fighting, but I was molested as a child. I'm very open about that.
Yeah.
But I didn't let that deter me from being the great person that I want to be.
Right.
So if you let those things take control of your life, eventually they're going to take you down different avenues. I just chose the latter move to be greater as opposed to being worse.
Right.
So
yeah, I think that's a really good statement you made, because what are you giving control in your life? What things? Because a lot of times we do act out of experience, what we've been through, and sometimes it's not the good, not always the best, but we act on those things. But it's just like, as humans, we are very powerful, and we have a lot of control. And sometimes, we hear people be like, "Oh, don't worry about them. That's just how they are. That's just the way they are."
That's not an excuse.
No.
And it's not acceptable.
Right. We got to stop making excuses for, the misbehavior or whatever, because the more we keep saying, "Oh, they're just like that. Oh, they didn't mean nothing by it," or whatever, the more they will continue and get away with it until they meet the right one. And it's just like, we don't do that around here.
No, ma'am.
Not in these parts, we don't.
Yeah. It's called enabling.
Enabling.
You continue to let that person do what you know is wrong. I feel like as a friend, as a partner, as a family member, you have to tell people when they're wrong.
Yes.
And it's not always about just having an opinion. Right is right. We know right and wrong. Right. We're adults, for the most part, at least. So if someone is doing something that you know is wrong, why not speak on it?
Yeah.
That's the friend that I am.
Yeah. That's holding people accountable too. You should be held accountable for your actions.
Yeah.
We definitely have to do better at that, because we just slide stuff, push it up under the rug, and just let it stay there. Yeah. But the more the dust continue to build, the more dirt will start to show. And it's just like, oh, this is the ugly you.
Right.
This is the true you.
Yeah.
And we got to clean that up. Going along with the whole verbiage thing, were there trigger words? I guess that would be the correct way to say it. Trigger words, if you guys would get into an altercation, I'm sorry, or I'm not gonna do it no more, those type vibes. Were there trigger words or phrases or things that you heard that was just stop playing?
You mean positive or negative? Trigger words.
Both.
So we had a thing for a while where we would talk things out. We did a couple therapy sessions together as a couple. So we learned a couple things, and we did have trigger words. We would just, I don't remember what the words were. I really try to forget all that.
I got you.
But and it's okay. It's fine to talk about it, of course. But I remember one thing about me is I like to deal with the problem then and there. I don't like to let it sit and fester.
Yeah, don't let it linger.
Piss me off even more.
Right.
And by the time we talk about it, I'm on 10.
Yeah. We up there.
I'm ready to go. So one thing I learned is that sometimes you have to just let it go for the moment. calm down, think about it, and then talk about it later.
Yeah.
For a while, that was a trigger for me because, like I said, and the more I think about it, the more it's pissing me off.
Yeah.
And now I have 10 other things to add to what pissed me off an hour ago.
Yeah, because now I done sat here and thought about
Yeah.
everything. You remember when?
And then I'm like, but I remember you was looking this type of way when I said it, so I know you was thinking something.
Yeah.
Like, so I had to learn to deal with that. He was the type that, like, he had to calm down first. If not, it was just going to be an argument.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be anything that's kind of productive. So it would trigger me for him to walk away from the situation. So I know that's not a word. That's really a body language.
Yeah.
But he would literally walk away. Like, I'm not dealing with this. And I'm like, we finna deal with this.
Right.
So finally I had to get over that. I'm trying to think of what the trigger word. I know he would say things that would piss me off. He would say, with your 35-year-old ass. He knows that I pride myself on not my age, but on being grown.
Yeah.
I told you I'm the oldest of 12. So I'm used to taking care of people. I'm used to being the one that's right. And I'm okay with that. But I also know how to humble myself and know how to sit down when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, my bad. You got this. And I literally will be the first to call you, like, say we have an argument, right?
Yeah.
And neither one of us are backing down for nothing. And I'm not going to back down if I feel like I'm right.
Because we're going to go head to head.
Married toe to
Come
toe.
on.
What's up?
Huh?
So I'll find out later, some way, somehow, like, oh, I was actually wrong. I will call you and be like, yo, it could be 2 weeks later. Hey, you remember that conversation we had? I just want to let you know I was wrong about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the type of person I am. I have no problem admitting that. So I would always tell him, like, when we argue, like, baby, I'm grown. I'm not going to argue back and forth with you.
Right.
Let's say our piece and let's move on. It's dinner time. I'm hungry. So he would get mad and be like, oh, you're 35-year-old ass. I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
Mind you, he was only like 4 years younger than me. But little things like that would just piss me off. He knew the right buttons to push to make me upset. So I don't remember all the trigger words, but
I got
there
you.
definitely were many.
Understood. Understood. So I know that you said that even after you let him stay for
7 months.
7 months to be exact.
I'm 37 to be exact.
Huh? You let him stay. Why do you feel like, or what was your reasoning for letting him stay? Like, even after the encounters, after the tango has been done,
Tangos.
right? Tangos. Why did you allow him to still be in your space?
One, I was still in love with him. And I couldn't see him on the streets. I know he wasn't making much money. I know he didn't have anywhere to go. He couldn't go to his parents' house. They kicked him out because of his sexuality. Well, his stepfather did. His mother loved him. He didn't have any friends really that he could depend on. Not really any family. So he had nowhere to go. And I felt bad. I'm like, if I put him out, I'm going to worry about him. So I'm like, just go in my guest room. And we worked opposite schedules. He worked nights, I worked days. So really, I only saw him in the morning when he first came home. And by that time, he's getting into bed anyway. So it wasn't really a big deal for me at first. But I let him stay because I cared too much.
Got you.
Yeah. I was a little naive. But I don't regret it. I feel like I needed to go through that.
Yeah.
It helped me be the person I am today.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of you being the person that you are today, how do you feel like that whole experience shaped your now? Like where you are now in life, like, you grown.
Grown.
You grown. How has what you've been through, how does it affect your now? Or do you feel like it doesn't affect it as much, like as far as like your outlook on things now, your perspective of things?
Yeah. It's changed it completely, actually. My eyes are really open to things that I wasn't really open to before. Because I give people the benefit of the doubt, I miss so much.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't get proof of things. there's not because I'm well known. Is why I was able to get the information that I got.
Right.
Had I not been known, I probably would have never known that. And my community is very small. The LGBTQ plus AIBCD, whatever, all that. It's very small. ABCDEFG, whatever it is. I love you. I'm just playing. Don't come listen. No bad comments. Just let it go. I'm just playing. Um, but because our community is so small, like everyone kind of knows everybody
Yeah.
to an extent. So I had straight people coming to me like, "Yo, ain't that your boy?
Yeah.
Like, what's up? What's going on?" And so like that's when I knew something was really going on. But it's allowed me to see people for who they really are. And it's also allowed me to. I've gotten stronger in my walk with faith. I grew up in the church, so I've always been God fearing. I've always been heavy in the church, singing, ushered, anything you can think of it, I was doing it.
Yeah.
But I have gotten so much closer with God because of the adversity that I went through with Him. I mean, I was literally on my face praying to Him most nights,
Yeah.
crying out, "God, just help me get out of this."
Right.
So it's changed my walk with God. And then it's allowed me to completely shift my life. So many things that I wanted to do when I was with him that I didn't do because I was so focused on that relationship
Right.
and helping build him as opposed to building myself. So I've been in Georgia now for going on 11 years. And I'm from the DMV. Shout out to DMV.
Shout out.
DC, Maryland, Virginia, for y'all who don't know. Just saying, because some folks
Yeah.
they're like, the DMV. You was
What's
born in the
that?
DMV. I got my license from there last week. No, baby, not the Department of Motor Vehicles. All right, go play. But I don't know. I really thank God for getting me out of that and getting me to a place where I can really do for me.
Right.
Started my business. Singing again. I love to sing.
Yeah.
So getting back into singing again and meeting new people, just living life. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, really changed for the best for me.
That is awesome. Yeah. So I guess I have two more questions and then we're going to close out this episode. So what would be some of the misconceptions of domestic violence that that you would sometimes hear, or that just in general?
That's a really good question. I think one of the biggest misconceptions, and maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm not, but is that men don't get abused. And it's not just in homosexual or heterosexual relationships.
Right.
It doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. Men get abused.
Yeah.
Physically, emotionally, mentally, verbally, we get abused.
Yeah.
And so I think it's such a big misconception that we don't still go through that. Same thing with like molestation, things like that. Like people always think it's the female that goes through that. Men go through trauma.
Right.
We go through things like that. So I think that will be like my top misconception. Another misconception is people in the church. Oh, well, they're in the church, so they're not going to go through stuff. Where?
Who said that?
We be the worst ones.
Who said that?
Like, just because we are God-fearing, just because we go to church every Sunday, we sing on the praise team, we doing this, we doing that, that doesn't take it away from the count that we're humans. We still go through things outside of the church. I think that would be my top two.
Top two.
Yeah.
Awesome. So last question for you would be, for someone out there that is listening to this episode, whenever they are listening to it, it may be someone that is currently dealing with domestic violence, or it may be someone that knows of someone who's dealing with domestic violence. What advice, based off of your experience, would you give that person?
So you're just gonna put that pressure on me, huh?
I'm sorry. Sorry.
First, I would say listen to yourself. Trust your intuition. I think that's a really big thing that we don't do. If you're feeling something over and over again, that's either God telling you, open up your eyes, You thought I was gonna say something else, or because you looked at me like what? Or that's your intuition saying, something ain't right.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's gonna be God. If you don't believe in God, it's gonna be your higher power, whoever it is. But you have to listen to your heart, and then seek help. Our people, especially in the Black community, we don't need help. You can't tell us nothing, baby. Pray about it and keep it moving. Right.
I don't need it. I got it.
Pray about it and keeping it moving.
Right.
And like, I'm such an advocate for therapy, for mental health.
Yeah.
And I grew up. We don't do that. As an adult, I teach myself. I teach my baby girl, like, you have to really, really seek the help that you need in order to be better, because you learn tools and things that you may not know otherwise.
Right.
So I do believe that you should seek help to try to be better and get the tools that you need to be the best person that you can be.
That part.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Underwood, because we call you Underwood around these parts. I truly appreciate you for coming and having this conversation, and kicking it with your girl. You know, I'm everybody's favorite life coach, and this is a part of life.
Yeah.
People go through abuse. They go, whether it's physical or verbal, like people actually go through this. Either it's you or somebody you know that has gone through it. So we have to talk about these things and bring awareness to it. So I appreciate you for sitting down and sharing your story with us. And it's definitely going to bless a lot of people.
My God, today. Oh, Shonda. I thank you, God. That's what I want. I want someone to be able to get help from it. So I hope so. That's my prayer for that.
So I truly, truly appreciate that. To all the kings and queens that are listening, I thank you for joining us and kicking it with us for this episode. Listen, if you know anyone that is dealing with domestic violence, we do have the hotline listed, and there's also a number you can text as well, so make sure you guys are using those resources. Like Underwood said, it's okay to ask for help. Sometimes when we're in situations, it's hard because we don't know what the outcome may be of us reaching out from different angles, but it's okay. It's okay to ask for help, and we just want to shine some light and bring awareness to that. But again, thank you for coming on this episode and kicking it with your girl. But kings and queens, you guys go out there, be you, do what you got to do for yourself. Love yourself. Know that there are people out there that loves you. We love you.
Yes, we love you.
We love you. Listen, we are a family. Like
a giant tree.
Shining out towards the skies. We are a family. That part, okay? And we're going to look out for each other. So there will be resources and everything. So take advantage of it. And of course, everything happens in its own time. But do what you got to do for you. Because at the end of the day, you got to live with you. But with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, all that good stuff. But we out.